Hello everyone, welcome to Skills Will Training YouTube channel. Myself Mohammad Zubair, and this channel is all about showing you how to become a highly paid IT pro really fast. So the topic of today's video is Subnetting explained simply for beginners. So without any further ado, let's get started. Subnet or subnetwork is a network that is present inside a network. It is just like we use subset in mathematics, where we have a series of numbers and we make subsets of the same type of numbers like even numbers, odd numbers, or whole numbers, etc. With the help of subnets, our network becomes more efficient and a network traffic flow from source to a destination becomes more efficient and more feasible, because now the network traffic chooses to travel a shorter distance and it does not have to pass through the unnecessary routers to get to a destination. Let's take a daily life example to understand this phenomena more clearly. Let's say you want to deliver a gift box to your friend who lives in a different town, and the fastest way for your gift to reach your friend is if the gift box gets posted from your post office directly to the post office in your friend's town, and then the gift to be delivered to your friend's house. If your gift gets sent to a post office which is like 100 miles away from your town, and then the gift gets posted to your friend's house, it would take a long time to reach your friend's home. So we can conclude that the shortest the distance the gift has to travel, the fastest it will reach the destination. The same phenomena gets applied to the internet and networks. As your gift, networks are more efficient and your messages get to the destination faster if your message is to travel the shortest distance and travel as directly as possible. When a network of any sort receives a message, or you can say the data packets from any other network, the network will sort and route the packet by its subnet so that it does not take the wrong or inefficient route. If you want to understand a subnet, you must understand the IP address first. Every device in the world that gets connected to the internet gets assigned a unique IP address, which is also known as the Internet Protocol address. It helps the data to be sent on the suitable device out of the billions of devices. An IP address is written in alphanumeric character, and it is usually composed of zeros and ones. If we talk about different parts of the IP address, we have 4 sections in IPv4 address. For example, we have an IP address of Facebook which is 31.13.71.1, and here we have 4 parts of it, and every part is separated with a dot from the other, and the maximum value in each part can be 255 and the minimum can be 0. These 4 parts are further divided into 2 groups. The first 2 parts define that to which network this address belongs. In Facebook, IP address 31 and 13 will determine which network this IP address will belong to. The second part in an IP address determines the device within the network. Interestingly, the length of the first part of the IP address can change depending on the network class. We have 5 classes of IP addresses. In class A, the first part gets used for the network and the rest of the 3 parts are used to identify the device. In class B, 2 parts are used for the network recognition and the other 2 parts gets used for the device. So it means Facebook belongs to class B. In class C IP addresses, the first 3 parts are used for the network and the last part is used for the devices. Class D and E networks are not used commonly. In class A IP addresses, it can connect millions of devices and in classes B and C, the number gets decreased. Now let's talk about why subnetting is essential. As you have seen how IP addresses are formed and how they have different classes and how it becomes more simple for the internet routers to look and find the right network for the data. As we know, in class A, IP addresses we can have millions of devices and it can take very long for the data to find a suitable device. So to overcome this problem, subnetting comes into play. In simple words, it narrows down, or you can say it shrinks the IP addresses into a range of devices. And because of that, it will be faster for the data or message to reach the destination device in a network. Now, let's talk about how subnetting works. As we have discussed, IP addresses help us identify the connected hardware devices and are part of the network. To find a particular device, we need to organize the IP addresses to make subnetworks or subnets into our network. To make it work, we need a subnet mask. So let's understand what a subnet mask is and why it is one of the essential parts of subnetting. The subnet mask is also like an IP address, but we only use it within the network. As we have routers in our network, routers use a subnet mask to route your data packets to your desired destination. To understand this phenomena more efficiently, let's take a daily life example. Let's say you sent a letter to your friend and in reply, your friend sends you a letter back. But he sends it to your office and not to your home. Your office has many departments and in every department there are many people working. To ensure that the letter gets to you, the administration in your office sorts the emails and letters by departments and not by the person. As soon as your office receives the letter from your friend, they will check your department, which is, let's say, design department, and they will send that letter to your department. And your department will transfer the letter to your desk. In this scenario, you are an IP address and the design department is a subnet mask. By matching you with your department, your friend's letter was sorted quickly and it reached the right destination in no time. Without the subnet mask, your office would have to spend a considerable amount of time looking for your desk to deliver your letter. Now, if we talk about the IP addresses and networks, let's say an IP packet was sent to the IP address which was 190.2.1.19 and this IP address belongs to the class C network. The network will be identified by 190.2.1 part and the router in the network will forward the packet to the host on the network which is indicated by 190.2.1. Now, as the packet arrives at the network, a router in the network will check its routing table. It will use the subnet mask and it will do some calculations. And as it will see the 19 as the device address, and after calculations, it will send the packet to the particular subnet. And then with the help of a router or a switch in that subnet, the packet will reach the 190.2.1.19 address. Now, let's have an example of how subnetting takes place. Let's say you are given an IP address and you are asked to make 3 subnets from it. And along with that, you are also asked to tell the subnet mask, host ID range, the number of usable hosts in each subnet, and the broadcast ID. Let's say the IP address given to you is 192.115.4.0/24. 24 is the subnet mask here. So first of all, let's make a table with a subnet, host and subnet mask. So the subnet starts from 1 and we will keep on multiplying it. So it will be 1, 2, 4, 8 and up to 256. And host will start from 256 and it will end up to 1. So it means you just have to divide from 256 and divide it in half. It also confirms here that if we have one subnet, we will have 256 hosts in it. And let's say we have 256 subnets. So it shows here that we will have only one host in each subnet in here. And the last part is subnet mask. It starts from 24 and goes up to 32. So as we are asked to make 3 subnets, so let's see where we could make 3 subnets from our table. We do not have 3 subnets exactly here, but we do have the option to go with 4. So it is suitable for our problem as we can get 3 subnets from it. So we will take this and ignore the rest of the table. Now I will show you the simplest and easiest way to understand how subnetting takes place and how the subnetting helps the packet reach a particular destination. So I will take this and I will ignore the rest of the table. 4 here are the subnets and in that we will have 64 hosts and 26 will be the subnet mask here. Now let's find out the required information from the given IP address. Well, I will make a table here and first thing will be network ID, then we will have subnet mask, then broadcast ID, number of usable hosts, and at the last we will have the host ID range. The first 3 numbers of the IP address will remain the same, and the only change that we are going to see will be in the last part of the IP address. So as the last digit in our IP address is 0, so we will continue from that. So first of all, we will simply add 64 to the IP address that is given to us. Because if you remember, from the first table we know that 64 will be the number of hosts that we can have. So just add 64 in the IP address and the following network ID will be 192.115.4.64. Again, just add 64 to it and the following network ID will be 192.115.4.128. And as we know that we have to make 4 networks, so again we will just add 64 again into it. And the last network ID will be 192.115.4.192. Now we need to find out the subnet mask. So as we have seen from the first table that the subnet mask will be 26. So it will remain 26 with every network ID. Before finding the broadcast ID, we need to find out the number of usable hosts here. So as 64 is the total number of usable hosts in each subnet, but the first host ID is reserved for the network ID by default, means it will represent the network, and the last host ID is reserved for the broadcast ID. So if we minus 2 from the 64, we will have 62. It means the number of usable hosts will be 62 for each subnet. So it means we will have 62 usable hosts in every subnet here. Now we need to find out the broadcast ID. So as I have mentioned that one host ID is reserved for the broadcast ID, so that is why we will just minus 1 from the next network ID and we will have the broadcast ID for our subnet. So as we know, the second network ID ends with 64, so we will just minus 1 from it and the broadcast ID for our first subnet will be 192.115.4.63. Now for the second subnet, the broadcast ID will be 192.115.4.127 because the third subnet ends with 128 and if you minus 1 from it, you will have 127 as a result. And that will be the broadcast ID of your second subnet. Now let's see what is the broadcast ID for our third subnet. As we know, the fourth subnet ends with 192, so just minus 1 from it and you will end up with 192.115.4.191. So this is how you can calculate the broadcast IDs into your subnets. We are done with everything, and the last thing that remains is host ID range. Well, as I have mentioned earlier, that one host ID is reserved for broadcast ID and one of them is reserved for the network ID by default. So to find out the range, we will just minus 2 from the 64 and we will have the range. So obviously for the first subnet, the host ID range will start from 192.115.4.1. You might be wondering that why we are not starting with 0. Well, this IP address is reserved for the network ID, so that is why we will ignore it and we will start with 1. And this host ID range will end up with 192.115.4.62. Now again you might be wondering that why not 63? Again 63 is reserved for the broadcast ID. So this is the host ID range that we can use into our first subnet. Now same goes for the second subnet. Again 64 is reserved for the network ID. So it starts from 65 and it will end up to 126. The easiest way to find out the host ID range is just add 1 into your network ID and minus 1 from your broadcast ID. And the IDs in between these two things will be your host ID range. Same goes for other two subnets. So this is how you can make subnets from it. You can also find out the subnet mask, host ID range, and the number of usable hosts in each subnets. So I'm sure now that you understand that how subnetting works and how we can subnet from a given IP address. So we are done for today's video. Please leave a like, subscribe and press the bell icon. We will see you in the next video.